Hello, I am here with Darcey Hope today. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone who's listening?
Hi, my name's Darcey Hope. I am a queer singer-songwriter from the UK, and I'm so excited to be chatting to Just Noise today.
Lovely. So, I want to start by asking a few little get to know questions. I
Yeah,
always start my podcast like this, just for anyone who doesn't know you and your music. I think it's a fun way to get to know you.
absolutely.
First one, favorite musical.
Oh my God, dogfight. Dogfight
Very
all the
nice. Go to comfort food.
Oh my goodness. Pancakes, but crepes.
Right,
Yeah,
nice.
with
What
banana.
what topping? Oh, banana.
Sorry, I take this very seriously. Banana Nutella. I've got
Right.
notes app on my phone, like ranking different crepe places across the country from like festivals and everything. I
That
take
is
it very
so you
seriously.
need to make one of those Instagram pages that
I'm
has
gonna
like
have to, I think.
yeah.
Honestly.
Country or city girl?
Country. But if I had to pick beach,
Yeah, no, that
that
is true, yeah. It's
yeah.
nice when you're, like, country close to a beach.
Yes,
That's, like, the
exactly.
perfect, like, little train
That's
under the
it.
beach. And I asked this on my last podcast, and I thought it was a good one. Favorite app on your phone?
Pinterest.
Oh, nice, different. Okay, so I like to start by asking whoever what their first memory of music is. So the first time you ever remember sort of having a conscious thought about music.
Oh my goodness. For me, I think it would have to be watching The Sound of Music in my auntie's house in Scotland in Edinburgh. We did like a double bill where we watched The Sound of Music and Singing in the Rain. And I think that has to be one of my first memories of music because from that point onwards, I was so obsessed with musical theatre, but just music in general, I absolutely loved. I come from a very, very musical family. It's like a
Um,
family like that absolutely adore music. My granddad's a drummer, my Grammy sings in a choir, and so I've just always been surrounded by it and was really encouraged to be musical as a kid. But I think if I had to pinpoint something in my brain, that would be the first moment that I remember just being like so in awe of music.
Such a good exposure as well, like,
Yeah.
Sound of Music, that's, like, the best thing to start
Oh
with.
yeah, I had every old film on the planet, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, all of those types of
Yeah.
film. Like, oh my goodness, one day I would just absolutely love to like go back and like write like music like that for something
Yeah,
so amazing.
it'd be perfect. And then if you wanna talk a little bit, so you said about how, you had a very musical family and that's kinda how you got into it. Do you wanna talk a little bit more about your journey to, like, what you've done to get to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I was a kid, my family had this family friend who was a music teacher, and she just encouraged my parents just to give me an instrument and let me play with it. So I wasn't like put into music lessons from an early age as a kid. Like they just let me really explore on my own, which I think is why I ended up being very gravitated towards teaching myself how to play instruments. So I taught myself how to play the guitar and the piano and the
Mm.
ukulele. Those and then I think I got to about age 13. I was doing lots of drama at school, and one day I just turned around and wanted to write a song. So I wrote a song for a piece that we were doing in like GCSE drama, and I just couldn't stop writing from then. I wrote so much. I had this gorgeous, like bright pink electroacoustic guitar. So I was kind of notoriously known throughout school as the girl with the pink guitar. I did get bullied for it, but the mums ate it up.
Yeah.
And at every school concert, I was in every music club, but I was very self-taught. I didn't do like music theory or anything like that. Like from a young age, I obviously had a very holistic approach to
Yeah.
learning how to be musical. And then it got to college and I was, as we've already talked about musicals, I'm working theatre and I was auditioning for drama school. And on my like page, I also put like I was gonna like maybe look at a few music degrees and stuff, and I ended up auditioning for a songwriting degree, and ended up going that way instead. I went to the audition and I was like, oh my god, I think I just want to write songs every day for 3 years. So that was what I did. I went to BIM and studied songwriting in Brighton, and had such an amazing 3 years. I made so many wonderful friends, wrote so many wonderful songs, played Glastonbury in my graduating year, and yeah, just kind of came on from there. But I would definitely say in the last few years that was where I really kind of started to find my voice and my sound. and kind of who I want to be as an artist. But I definitely
Right.
wouldn't have gotten there without my time studying there. So yeah.
And you said about, like, finding your sound. Would you say you have any, like, main musical influences, both sonically and lyrically, that you think inspire you most to sort of create what you make now?
Absolutely. Growing up, I would say that Jack Johnson and Chris Martin were really big influences from a young age. Newton Faulkner is a very big inspiration of mine. Anything that's got a guitar slammed on it,
Mm.
I'm kind of all over. Katie Tunstall was definitely the entire reason that I wanted to start playing the guitar. I remember being shown a video of her doing Black Horse and the Cherry Tree and being like, that's what I want. That's what I want to do. So I would say her overall as a performer is really big for me. And definitely in the recent years, Brandy Carlisle has become a really big inspiration for me. The Chicks, definitely as well, like lyrically. I would say then sonically, when it comes to my sound, I kind of like to bring all of that into it. I really like having a really raw acoustic sound into it, but also artists like Lizzie McAlpine and Phoebe Bridgers and Boy Genius and those kind of that like kind of indie pop sound that kind of floats into an acoustic space is what I'm kind of all over. But I think with the next stuff we're working on, there's definitely more of a live acoustic rocky like kind of bass to it that you can definitely hear the Katie Tunstall, Brandy Carlisle sound coming through a bit more. But I'd say for the most recent project, they were my tops.
For sure. And then talking about your most recent project, so you
Yeah.
released just on the 10th of October, Late to the Party. If we want to talk about out of your track list, what song was maybe easiest to write and hardest to write? Or maybe
Ooh,
they're all the same, I don't know. But yeah, talk to me a little
no.
bit about the writing process.
The writing process was really interesting. I had a whole other EP ready to record that I was about to start working on. And then I realized I was gay and scrapped it. So they were all songs that I kind of went through like a big, like graduated, moved home, came out, and I was like, I just don't feel like these songs are like what I want to record right
Yeah.
now. Like they're me. I feel like I need to take a bit of time to like learn who I am and figure out if this is like the type of music I want to be making. And so I scrapped everything, and Doing Fine was the first song I wrote for the project. I wrote it in my new room at home because my dad had moved whilst I'd been at uni. So I was kind of moving home, but like moving to a completely new place. And so everyone around me was kind of like, what's the plan? What are you doing? You just graduated, just played Glastonbury. Like, you're going to be like a massive big shot artist, like signed to Universal, surely. And I had to like kind of explain to my family that aren't creative but love them so much that that wasn't how it worked.
No.
So I wrote Doing Fine quite quickly. It was just kind of like a big old like splurge of crash out one evening. And I Could Just Come Round was kind of the same. Like both of those kind of came kind of together as like a pair.
Yeah.
And I really wanted it to feel like that on the record, which is why they're kind of next to each other. And Late to the Party, I'd say emotionally was a hard song to write, but was the most cathartic to write because I had kind of just started to come out to more people. I'd say Doing Fine and I Could Just Come Round. I wasn't quite out to everyone yet,
Right.
but I was kind of speaking about it a bit more. And I think I'd posted um, something on national, like on Lesbian Visibility Day about someone like commenting about me looking like a massive lesbian on TikTok. So
Yeah.
people knew now. But I was definitely getting comments I didn't look gay, and that was frustrating me because there obviously isn't one way to look gay. And for someone who I know as a straight passing person with quotation marks, if you're listening to this, I have a lot of privilege in kind of my queerness and how I can kind of go about my day to day and like not be targeted as a gay person, which is quite different to my girlfriend. So we have very different experiences, but I definitely found myself feeling quite isolated and like late to the party, which is kind of where that song came from. And that was the point where I went, okay, this is what the EP's gonna be. And then back of my mind, there was like four different versions of it. Like we wrote it and rewrote it so many times. A lot of my songs aren't very upbeat, but I wanted one that was a little bit more of like a upbeat song. It's still sad. Which one day I'll have an upbeat song that's not sad. Um, but that was a fun song to write, but it took a while to get there. It definitely took some time to like find its groove. So yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like a lot of your writing comes from processing emotion rather than sort of discovering it, if that's like,
Yeah.
so you use it more as like a tool once you already have a feeling. Is that correct to say?
I would definitely say so. Like, I think I also like songs take you on a journey, and I feel like when I write them, it happens too. Like by the time I get to the bridge, I'm like processing the emotion in an entirely different way.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a form of processing for me. It's kind of how I get my emotions out. Like I kind of have my like my my quiet private festering time, and then I go, okay, I can write a song about this now, which I think also means that when I play them live, they don't have like a big emotion attached to them. I think if I wrote when I was in the emotion, um, I'd maybe still feel quite emotional
Yeah.
when I'm performing them and working on them. And I think especially for a song that like Late to the Party, which is very, very like an emotional topic for myself. I think because I'd kind of written it once I'd processed the emotion and I kind of do journal and I jot down and then I kind of write from that. So there's definitely like a different form of processing in there. So we go, okay, we got through it by the time we get to the last line.
And when you are putting out these songs, do you tend to think about how you want them to be conveyed, or is that something? Do you have a message you're trying to share, or you very much sort of want people to take what they take from a song?
You know what? That's become something that's come into my writing process this year, I would say. I think in previous years, I was perhaps maybe more just writing for myself or writing because I was studying. So I was writing to learn and I was definitely writing to process. And I think this year, the songs that I've been writing for What's Next, which I won't say too much about now because I released a whole EP. So it's like, yeah, that's enough of that. This is what's going on now. But I think as I've been writing, like putting this music out this year, I've definitely focused a lot more on how people are perceiving the music and something that I kind of want to focus on from the kind of get go. Like once a song's written, it's kind of like, okay, now how are we going to shape this? And writing to perform live has been a very big part of my writing process this year. Like, how is this song going to be played live? And how do I want it to sound? And how, like, definitely creating more of an experience, I would say, rather than a feeling. I think, yeah, as we've said, like a lot of my music has been to process emotions, and I think perhaps this year I've had a bit more fun with writing and kind of a bit experimented a bit more with different topics that aren't just emotions, and I've kind of maybe created more of a world within my writing. But definitely for these songs it was, this is how I felt and now I'm giving it to you. But I think that's meant that people have connected with them in such a intimate way because I'm giving such like a vulnerable piece of myself in that. So yeah.
Interesting. So you say, obviously, a lot of what you're writing about is so creating that live performance, and how that comes across there. A completely different element. So your like artwork, for the project, like what was the inspirations there? Was there any message that you were trying to convey through that, or were you trying to link that into, anything that people would expect to hear when they're listening live, when they're listening to the records?
Yeah, I think what we really wanted to do with the covers for these is I'm quite an awkward person sometimes, and I'm definitely not cool, without trying to sound like a pick me. So I think we wanted these covers to be really nice and natural and kind of be like, this is me, this is who I am as an artist, and this is like on a plate, I'm giving it to you. For Late to the Party as a single cover, I really enjoyed kind of creating the table, which we actually used a table from a cafe I was working in at the time. And my best friend Grace, who is a wonderful photographer, we dragged her and her boyfriend and their other bandmate up to a random field kind of in Ditchling near Brighton and just like created this little spread with things from my room. And it was a really lovely thing to do. We did it like way back in 2024 of like the
Mm.
beginning of summer. And that was like something I really wanted to do, kind of like a relaxed tea party kind of vibe. All of them are shot outside to kind of have that like outsidey vibe. And then back of my mind, we actually broke into my drama school to shoot that. We kind of just had like a field day. I don't know if I'm not going to say because I don't want them to find out and tell me off. But then we found this really cute little doorway. And so we shot that one there. I could just come round is shot through the window of my car, which kind of inspired the song and is kind of now recently almost deceased. So RIP to
Oh,
Kevin. we went on a drive around Hebden Bridge and shot the lyric video in that. So Late to the Party was also done on that day by a little canal. So we kind of wanted them to all have this similar vibe, whereas there was like something that fed into it, but they had this very like homely kind of, oh, this is just like a very like relaxed kind of picture to kind of paint with the same vibe of the songs being kind of like, this is just me on all listening to my song, and this is kind of how you'll see yourself too.
Yeah, and on from that, you also created a music video. Do you want to talk a little bit about the process of the initial idea you had, obviously putting that out there, and then the response that had, and then what shooting it was like?
Yeah, it's actually quite funny because I had a comment the other day from someone being like, what happened to the Late to Party music video? It's out. It's out. I think it kind of unfortunately got lost in the TikTok ether when we actually put it out, which was a bit of a shame. But when I was writing the song and I was like, oh, it would be so nice to do like a music video like with like different looks of queer people to kind of communicate this kind of underlying meaning of the song, that there is no one way to be queer and love someone. And so me and Harry were just talking one day. Harry is the director of the music video. He like creative directs all of my stuff and shoots a lot of my stuff as well. And we were just chatting one day and we were like, well, maybe we should just like see if anyone wants to be in it. Let's just like, maybe we could try and get a little cast together. We've tried to get casts in the past for songs that we've been shooting for and always been in successful. And so I just posted this little video on TikTok just saying like, maybe thinking about doing a music video for one of my songs. It's just about like queer women and non-binary people. So if that it relates to you and you want to be involved, then just like make a video to this sound and we're gonna look. And I posted it and went to bed and I woke up the next morning and it had 200,000 views, which was insane. We had like 200 submissions. I had people from all over the country messaging me saying like, I live in New York, but I would love to be in this. I obviously can't be, but like, it's just, if I had like a big fancy label like pumping loads of money into me, then maybe potentially that could have been
One day.
possible. Monday. Um, we then like spent hours sifting through all the videos because I wanted to make sure that we did have like lots of different people, and I wanted to like, I don't know, I was like looking at the people and I was like, does this person feel like they're late to the party? And so that was like the tick. And so then we ended up screenshotting loads of them and sending to them. And we ended up with like 50 screenshots being like, I really like this one. I really like this one. And then we whittled it down to the group that we had in the video and they all came to where I was like based at the time. And we had the most wholesome day. Everyone got on so well. Like, I think it was like just like fate that everyone slotted in as
Yeah.
well as they did. Like, that exact group that we had all was so perfect together. And it really, like, I guess, encapsulated the whole meaning of the song. And it was such an emotional day because we were like, this is literally what the song is talking about, like being a part of something and creating something that you can feel a part of. And we've just done that, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And like so many people have messaged saying that song has like helped them come out to their family and helped them come to the terms with their queerness, and just helped them feel like a little less alone. Or like some people have messaged me saying that they're still in the closet and they can't come out and that because they're scared to, but this song makes them feel okay. And just having that music video as like a visual for that, I think was so important, so that people could look at that and potentially see themselves and be like, oh, okay, like I'm not alone in this. And I really do hope, like, we always post about it, and I really do hope that one day it like finds
Mm.
more people and people go and they're like, oh my god, how have I not seen this? This is incredible. But I love that group of people so much, and I like, honestly, they completely made this whole entire year and project for me.
And on from that, I was about to ask what your favourite part of making music is, which I think is a very big question. Maybe there's multiple, but
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think definitely for me, my favorite part of making music is using it as a form of connection with people. It definitely is. And I mean, whether that's a fan or just a person in general, like me and my girlfriend, we write a lot together. And so for me, like, that's like the best form of connection possible. The fact that we have songs that we've created together means so much to me. And whether it's a song that I've written or a song that like me and my mum listened together, or like me and my like me and my granddad, like my granddad has dementia, and so music is such a big form of connection for him. And I think having like connected with fans through social media or through in person, the number one thing that they always say is that like your music connects to me. And so I think for me, it really is like, like finding that little like piece of each other in music is so important to me, and I will and never stop doing it for that reason.
And from that, so obviously various types of live performances, be that like you had your pop-up gig and then you have like support slots, festivals, like
Mm.
how would you compare them? Do you have like a favorite one that you like find like most interesting to be able to connect through people that way?
Yeah. It's so interesting. I think over the past few years, I have done such a massive variety of gigs. Like I've played like even out of my own music, like function gigs where no one's listening to you.
Mm.
And I've been lucky to be like allowed to play my original music at them, like through the covers. And wildly, I love those gigs because no one's watching me, and sometimes it's nice to not be perceived. So it's like I get to just like try out and experiment, and I know that no one's like judging me. So I really oddly like those types of gigs.
That's like
I
the one person who's ever said that.
like I don't know, maybe it's the neurodivergence in me. I just don't like being perceived, and like I just need to be able to like perform in my own space. I do
Mm.
have to like do that in my room. I have to like practice what I'm going to do on stage, so that I like know what I'm doing when I get out there. I also end up rambling all the time as well, so it's nice to sometimes have to like not do that. But I would say in terms of connecting with people, like the coffee pop-up we did at the weekend is definitely like that's the best way. And like gigs like that are so amazing because not only like do I get to like meet and speak to people, but like they get to meet and speak to each other. And at the weekend that was definitely what happened. Like by like everyone kind of came in and they were sitting at different tables, and by the end everyone was sat round one table talking, and no one wanted to leave. Like we had to leave at some point because the coffee shop had to close, but nobody wanted to leave, and everyone was chatting and they were sharing experiences. I came away with two friends, like because we were just chatting and we were like, oh my goodness, like we'll like meet up, we're moving to the same place, we'll keep in touch. And just getting to put like faces to the names of people who comment on videos, and like my number one Airbuds listener came, she's an icon. So I think definitely being able to like take it just from like, okay, you listen to my music on Spotify, but now we've like got memories together
Mm.
is amazing. And I think next to that would then come like the support gigs where I get to kind of like meet new people, or new people get to discover my music, and like the odd time where I get to like play a big stage at like a festival or like a big support gig like I did last month. Those ones I like get really like excited at because they have like a different kind of like rush and thrill. I think those ones maybe you connect with people a little bit less, but even if like two people come away like saying that they love my music because they've listened to me, then that like is still like an absolute win for me.
And do you have a favorite live memory performance off the top of your head?
I think it has to be last month. Alyssa came to watch me play the O2 Academy in Islington, which was crazy. I supported one of my favorite bands, the Sunset Sons. I've listened to them since I was 15. I met them for my 15th birthday and I absolutely fangirled over them. They like signed my ukulele. It was absolutely nuts. I was like screaming inside. And I got to support them last month, the night before my birthday at O2. And I did my support slot and it was so fun. It was so cool. The crowd were great. I had a absolute blast. Sound was brilliant as well. I love it when like I'm like, oh god, I kind of sound quite good right now. And then I was just backstage with the lead singer Rory, who has been a really lovely mentor for me over the last like couple of years. Like he always like will take time to listen to my music and give me good feedback and stuff. And he was like, oh, it'd be so great if we could sing together sometime. Maybe just come on stage tonight. And so half an hour later, I was on stage with the tour manager's in-ears on my back and singing to one of their songs. And I've never had anything that spontaneous happen before. And it was just an absolute rush. I loved it so much. I think it was just like such an amazing full circle memory for me to go from being a fan of theirs to then getting to sing live on stage with them. It was a great way to turn 24.
For sure. And a little bit of a rogue one, but do you have like a favorite memory of a gig as a listener that you would potentially like to like emulate that feeling one day?
Absolutely. The chicks on the pyramid stage at Glastonbury in 2023, that was an out of body experience for me. I bawled my eyes out for 90% of it because they've been like a massive childhood band for me, but they on stage are so amazing. But the way that they not only are just an amazing band, but the songs that they play about being a woman, the songs they play about the government, like they have a song about gun violence. I think like they bring such important things into their music that are beyond just like being an artist. And they've always been that way. They have always been that way as a band. So I think like as a female singer-songwriter, they have always been the top. So getting to see them live was a completely crazy experience for me, and that will always be the goal. And I think next to that it would have to be Katie Tunstall. I saw her in Guildford, my hometown, a couple of years ago, and I got to meet her and chat to her and get some advice off of her. And she was lovely, but she is just the sickest performer on the planet. Like she knows what she's doing, and her way around the guitar is incredible. But just like all of her songs are so wonderful, and like for her being like the reason I picked up a guitar in the first place. If I get to see her again, amazing. If I get to support her one day, happy days. But I think those would have to be my top two. I'm too indecisive to pick one. I'm sorry.
And from that, so I want to talk. I know you mentioned a little bit about within music, talking about like world issues and things. Something I like to talk about on each episode is I like to highlight what obviously everyone in the industry experiences it completely differently given their circumstances themselves,
Yeah.
but maybe a particular industry struggle or pressure that you've experienced or you think should really be highlighted, because I think it's important that they're spoken about, given that everyone I think knows that it's not idealistic at all.
Yeah. For me, I would have to say there's two. I think the first one for me would have to be the pressure to release as much as they kind of want us to. Because obviously that matches up with financial means. Like I think and like also like having a break. I think, there's artists like Tame Impala, like he has just been on a 4-year break to like work on his album. Whereas I think obviously for independent artists, there's kind of this like whether
Mm.
it's an industry pressure or like a mental pressure for us to kind of always be like writing and releasing and gigging and networking. There's a very big pressure on that front, and I think that like prioritizing well-being is really really important to like advocate for, to make sure that we're also like being given a break. But like I was actually even talking about someone the other day where they were like, oh, I've not posted on TikTok in like a few weeks and I feel like I can't post again because like I don't know like how to like start back up. So I
Mm.
think that would be my number one. But I think for me, the main thing I've found as a female artist is interacting with I don't want to come across ungrateful in a sense, but interacting with certain men in the industry at gigs. I was actually talking about this the other day, but when I started out, I had a very uncomfortable circuit of older men who would come to my gigs and stand at the front and film me. And I never felt like I could ask them to stop because it was very hard to like not come across as rude. And
Mm.
I think that's not spoken about enough, is like how women have to deal with young women have to deal with things like that, because I know I'm not the only person who's gone through that. I
Yeah.
know quite a lot of girls who have gone through the same gig circuit, who have had the same men at the front. And I think that it's a very exposing thing to be an independent artist and be in a small venue, being able to see everyone's faces. And I think especially when you're trying to build a fan base and you have a certain target audience of potentially like for me it's young women, like that's my goal, like young women and queer people, that's like my target like audience. And so like when I was doing support gigs and getting booked for gigs by promotion companies where I was just playing to a group of men filming me, it was the most uncomfortable experiences. And I stopped gigging for quite a while after that because I just was too like alone, like too worried to go alone. My dad would have to come with me because I would like not be able to go to a gig on my own. And it's gotten like I'm lucky that now I put things on myself, like the coffee pop up,
Mm.
where I kind of know who's coming, and like it's like in the afternoon, so like I think there's not a lot of places that exist in the grassroots world for under 18s to be able to attend. And I think, finding worlds where like more young people can consume music in a way that's not like going to the O2 Arena where you can take your mum, but like more things that are accessible for people that are cheaper and like, they can come to and then go home and get home in time for tea. I think creating safer spaces for women in the industry is so important to me and will always be like my number one to talk about.
Yeah, I think what you said there as well, I think was particularly interesting about like being an independent artist, and obviously it's you that has to make those, decisions and statements of your own back. So, it's definitely a difficult thing, and completely agree with what you said there about like it's actually almost ridiculous how few like under 18 spaces there are for people, when if anything, I think for independent artists, they're probably one of the most, involved within that, 'cause they have the most time to give
Fangirls
to
are
it.
the backbone of the
Yeah, no, for sure,
industry.
like,
Always.
they have the time and their parents' money to dedicate to it. So no, for sure, I think the things you said there were great. Going on from that, wanted to talk about, you did the live lounge. Did you wanna talk a little bit about that and how you found
Yeah.
that?
It was so fun. I've never sung live on the radio before, and it was funny because we, like, filmed an extra song after we finished that, like, because we had an issue with the mic, and so we just wanted to, like, film it again, and, scuffed it up twice, like, because I didn't have the pressure of being on live, like, I think the
Mm,
whole can't get this wrong. I'm playing live on the radio, and also like the whole time doing fine, having the panic of making sure that I didn't swear because I was on the beat.
yeah, big
And
one.
I was going, "Don't swear, Darcy. Don't swear. Don't swear. Don't swear." But it was so fun. Melita, who is the presenter for BBC Sussex and Surrey for BBC Introducing, is an absolute icon. She is the best. She is so good at what she does, and is just she's such an amazing advocate for small artists. I mean, all the BBC Introducing presenters are, and she's so wise. And so it was so fun to get to go to her 'cause she's been playing my music since I started releasing 4 years ago. So it was so fun to like play the whole EP live on the radio. We got to play it through and we had a lovely stripped back setup. And it was surprisingly very chill for singing to 25,000 people. I didn't realize that was how many people listened to BBC Introducing, but apparently that's how many people listen to BBC Introducing. So it was so fun. I absolutely loved it.
And do you wanna talk a little bit about quick fires?
Yeah.
They don't have to be quick, but sort of like dreams of upcoming. So the first one, like, is there any particular venue that you would love to play?
The Amira. That's a goal for me. I'd love to play at the Amira. Yeah.
That's so funny. I might be going there in like half an hour, so it's
I
really
love
funny
that
that
for you.
you
You're
said
living my dream. I've not
that.
even been.
It is a
I've
beautiful venue.
It's so I can't remember. There was another one that Lizzie McAlpine played a couple years ago. It's by King's Cross. I can't remember the name of it, but I went there to watch her.
I know
And
what you mean, and it's gone, and I've been there.
what's it
I
called?
really can't.
What's it called? You have to put it in the footnotes of this or
Yeah, I
something.
was gonna say
I
because my friend
remember.
lives right next
I
to it,
should
and
have.
the name is just gone.
Yeah, but I went to see her there, and I that was they would have to be my top two. I would have to say. Yes.
Lovely.
Mm.
A dream support?
Katie Tunstall. Katie, if
Brilliant.
you ever listens to this, please.
She's there, she's waiting. And is there someone that you would love to, collaborate with? Maybe either both on a record or live, they can be different, but
Okay, that's a really tough one. Currently, Katie Gregson McLeod.
great
Yes.
answer.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to finish by asking, if there's any things that you're hoping to do in the next sort of year, any things you're excited for, or things that you want to work towards doing more of?
Yeah, I am really excited to start recording some new music. I've been writing so much this summer, and I think something that I really want to do with it this year is record more of it, like completely live, like
Mm.
perhaps in like like how they used to back in the day, where you just hit record and you'd all play at the same time. That's something I really, really would love to
There's
do.
more people starting to do that again, which I think is really
Yeah,
lovely.
that's something I'd really love to do. And like I think as I said before, like really creating like a whole world with the next project where it's just like listening to it as a complete experience. That's something I really want to do. And I'd really love to go on a support tour. That's a big goal of mine. I've played lots of support gigs this year, kind of dotted across the country. But I think next year, something I'd really love to do is be skirted round and do a little support tour. I
Is there
think
anywhere in particular that you haven't, like, played yet that you would like location-wise that is, that you'd like to play?
I would love to play in Scotland. I'm half Scottish, so I would absolutely love to play in Scotland so that all
Best
my Scottish
audiences,
family can
apparently.
come and watch me. I've got so much family up there, all my aunties and uncles, and they've never been able to watch me play. So I think if I got to play in Edinburgh or Glasgow, I would absolutely love that. And I'd love to do an out of UK gig. I'd love to, yeah. I'd love to play in Paris. That's my dream. Live in Paris,
I
but
can
play in
see it
Paris.
happening.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for chatting. If you just want
Thank
to end by shouting out your, like, social medias where people can find you and where they can listen to your music.
at Darcey Hope Music on Instagram, TikTok. I don't use X. So sorry. I'm not supporting Elon Musk with that one. And you can listen to me at Darcey Hope on all of your streaming platforms, and Late to the Party is out now.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.